Welcome back to the Pastor's Toolkit, the channel where we help you with practical skills and biblical wisdom to finish your race in ministry. Today, we are not going to talk about any secret diet or miracle exercise plan that will make you healthy in only 3 minutes. We don't do hype and we don't have any shortcuts to a six pack's ab. Health, fitness, and longevity are all huge topics that have their own experts. But we want to start with your motivation. When we compare our earthly lives to eternity, James chapter 4 verse 14 says, "So you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes." He's really just capturing what David said 1,000 years before him in Psalms chapter 39, verse 5. Behold, you have made my days a hand's breadth, and my lifetime is as nothing before you. Surely all mankind stands as a mere breath. Our time on earth, when we can make a kingdom impact that will endure for eternity, is short. Let's not waste those years by being careless about how we treat our body. In our culture, we often praise burning out for Jesus. But neglecting your health isn't spiritual. It's poor stewardship. We all know what 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 19 and 20 says. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. You were bought at a price. Don't let a preventable illness take you out of the harvest field early. A quote that we regularly come back to is this: you can only go as far in ministry as your body will take you. It's simple and even obvious, but also profound. As a spiritual father, your people rely on your presence. If the father is sick, the whole family is worried. As your influence expands and your wisdom increases, it's a cruel irony when your stamina starts to fail you just as you are becoming more effective. Our awareness of your mortality increases with age. At 20 or 25, we hardly think about getting old or wrestling with the reality that we'll die someday. At 45 or 55 or older, that changes. It's a tragedy to have a sharp mind but a body that can no longer travel or stand. It's better to establish sustainable long term habits that can sustain your body sooner than later. That is to say, don't wait for a heart attack or a stroke to decide you want to become more fit. Start today, even if it's a 15 minutes walk around the neighborhood. Work your way up to 30 minutes, then 60 minutes. Walking is one of the absolute best exercises. It's easier on your knees and hips than running and doesn't require special equipment like cycling. But everyone is different. We are not here to prescribe your workout routine, but to help you think through for yourself what type of lifestyle you can sustain long term. Some people love swimming, and older people especially like it because it's great for their joints. Others do like cycling. Some like sports, which is great, but don't let the unavailability of competitors limit you. Maybe you love cricket when you were young, but how realistically it is possible that you play regularly enough and get a good cardio workout? Do that too, but figure out something that's not depending on other people's availability. It's very helpful to stop and list out all the things that are actual barriers that prevent you from regular exercises. Be honest with yourself. List them out and then figure out a solution to remove each barriers. One of the leaders I know had three barriers. He lives in a hot, humid place. He would get bored with long workouts and he didn't have great shoes for regular workouts. One by one, he solved each problem. For heat and humidity, he keeps an insulated bottle of cold water. with some electrolytes mixed in it and does laps around the neighborhood. Every 10 minutes, he finishes one lap, stops and drinks the cold water, and does another lap. In this way, the heat and dehydration is manageable. There's a small reward waiting when he finishes each lap, and that's that cold water. For boredom, he figured out a system to load up his phone with audiobooks to keep his mind engaged while his body is working out. He averages around one audiobook per week, but sometimes he does Bible audios or phone calls or just quiet reflection and prayer. That excuse was eliminated. And for shoes, he figured out that spending some money on decent shoes was better than spending more money on hospital bills. He eliminated the excuses and now walk 40 kilometers a week and has hopefully extended his longevity and old age mobility by establishing this walking habit the last couple years. Health is valuable. This is something that is obvious to older people but hard to understand for young people. Be honest in identifying your excuses and be ruthless in systematically eliminating them. Also, by around age 40, it's common for men to start to lose their muscle mass and especially upper body strength unless they actively work to maintain it. You don't need to become a bodybuilder or join a gym, but do some body weight exercises, maybe push ups, planks, squats, pull ups if you can. The goal is to maintain your core strength so you aren't bedridden in your 60s. Easier to start this in your 30s than 50s, but both are possible. If you want to lose excess body fat, they say it's 80% about diet and only 20% about exercise. Let's be honest about our diet. We often eat carb on carb, like having aloo matar with both rice and roti. We treat samosas and vada pav as light snacks, but they are actually heavy starch loads. And the biggest issue? The sugary chai and biscuits at every meeting. We think we are being polite by drinking it, but we are actually giving our bodies a sugar shock that leads straight to diabetes. It's time we stop eating like we are working in the fields when we are actually sitting in meetings. Our ancestors worked in fields. We sit in cars and offices. We cannot eat a heavy rice and roti diet while living an inactive lifestyle. A pastor's belly we see in our churches is often a warning that our bodies are struggling to keep up. If you grew up in 80s or 90s, you probably heard that eating fat will make you fat and a low fat diet is better. This has been largely proven untrue. It's actually the high sugar and high carb diet that causes the most trouble, leading into high rates of diabetes and heart diseases we see all across India today. You can do your own research here, but we wanted to address that health myth. The simple rule is this: we need to be much more intentional about eating real food, things that are naturally rich in protein and healthy fats. Instead of filling up on mountain of rice, look for the real power on your plate. Focus on the thick dal, the paneer or the eggs. These are high in protein and gives you the stamina you need for a long Sunday service. And don't be afraid of ghee or mungfali, peanuts. These are healthy fats that fuels your brain and protects your heart. When you fill your plate with these first, you naturally won't have room for extra roti or the pile of rice that causes the sugar spike. And while we are talking about our families, please remember that more than half of the women in India struggle with anemia. They are simply not getting enough iron. In this age, we have so many tools. Even an AI can help us find better ways to eat, but it starts with being aware of our family's nutritional needs. Cheap foods are cheap for a reason. Sometimes we think we are saving money by eating cheap, starchy, low quality food, but then we spend more money on healthcare, medicines, operations, etc. You need to zoom out, play the long game, think long term. Not only about what health habits you would like to start today, but how about looking back 20 years? But also maintain an eternal perspective, maximizing our fruitful for Jesus' kingdom while we are still alive in this fallen bodies on earth. Give yourself every advantage to last long and go far for Jesus. Our prayer for you is that you can fight the good fight and finish the race. Keep the faith, knowing there will be in store for you a crown of righteousness.